So Peter gets there first. And when he arrives, he sees Jesus standing on the shore right next to a charcoal fire, it says. Now, it's crucial to know that there's only one other time in the whole gospel, in fact, in the whole Bible, where there's a charcoal fire. It just happens to be 3 chapters earlier. And it just happens to involve Peter and Jesus. It was around that charcoal fire that the most humiliating moment of Peter's life took place. The moment that caused him so much guilt and so much shame. The moment when this incredibly proud man, this man just like us who had such incredible desires to be noble and heroic, who had made some boastful comments, just like some of us have, turned coward at the questions of a slave girl. And so now Peter sees Jesus standing right next to that exact same kind of fire. Why? Well, I think Jesus intentionally built the fire. And he intentionally stood right next to it so that Jesus would be right there and that Peter would have to approach the fire as he approaches Jesus. Not so he could rub his nose in what it is that he had done. Rather, he wants to teach him about the power of real mercy and real forgiveness. He builds it so that when they're done with what's about to happen, Peter's going to leave with an amazing sense of peace, a renewed sense of confidence, and the strength again to begin all over. At this charcoal fire takes place the first conversation between Jesus and Peter recorded in the gospel after the resurrection. All these weeks, so far as we know, Peter's been on edge. Still amazed about the Lord's being alive, still shocked at what he's seen, but still wondering when the talk is going to happen. And you gotta figure he's wondering when it's going to happen. And so as soon as they're done eating breakfast, John tells us, Jesus turns to Peter and begins to talk to him for the first time. And you might remember it well. He says, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter's got to be thinking, here we go. Because I'm going to say yes, and he's going to say, then where were you? What happened? Why'd you run? Why'd you deny me? Where have you been? So Peter says, yes, Lord, you know I love you. And Jesus doesn't say anything like that. Jesus says, feed my sheep. And Peter's got to be shocked. And twice more he asks it. 3 times in all. Simon, son of John, do you love me? Feed my sheep. And when they're done, this amazing wave of forgiveness comes over Peter. And he knows everything has been forgiven. He knows that the Lord hasn't revoked the promises. He knows that it all still holds. In fact, because of the awareness he has of how badly and how easily someone can blow it, Peter now becomes the perfect dispenser of God's mercy. I'm convinced, as I was praying for this gathering of you brothers today, that Jesus has built in this room countless charcoal fires. And he's seated there right now, waiting for you, wanting to talk with you. Because that's what happens in the sacraments. The sacraments are the continuation in time of the very things which Jesus did when he walked the earth. He's here in this room, so desirous to give to you exactly the same experience that he gave to Peter. He wants us to know his love, to experience his mercy, And to leave here profoundly aware today that no matter what's in our past, no matter what we leave behind at the fireside, He's still got great things for us to do. And not just for some of us, but for all of us. For there is so much work to be done both in this culture and in this diocese. And it depends on all of us to get involved. And we can't get involved. We can't step forward, at least not with any confidence, until we know that it's all okay. Until we know that we're forgiven and that we can begin again. So, brothers, let's run to sit down with Jesus beside the fire and experience again today His grace.